For those of you who don't know me, my name's Bill Garichinski. I work with PRISM Digital. We power the kwmarketingcenter.com. And really it's kind of a one-stop shop for all of your print marketing. So whether that's business cards you need, whether it's brochures for an open house, whether it's it could be signage, you need open house signs, you need yard signs. Got another one here. Or really what we specialize in is mailing campaigns. We do all that. So any print marketing, like I said, business cards, signage, brochures, you could come here and do them. We have a bunch of templates in our on our website here that are really user friendly. You could go in, add pictures, type in text, and basically have them ready to go. They're not, it's going to be a little different than if you're familiar with Canva. If anybody uses Canva, you can kind of move everything around, size things, change colors, all that stuff. Our templates aren't designed to be like that. They're designed to be very straightforward, just fill them in and get them printed. However, if you are somebody that uses Canva a lot or likes to design their own things, we're fully compatible with Canva. I'll get into that a little later in the class here and how you can sort of design your own stuff in Canva and just upload it to our store to have it professionally printed, whether it's a sign, whether it's brochures for an open house, or even mailings. You want to design your own, have us print them and mail them out for you, we can do that too. So what I'm going to start going over is really using direct mail to market your business and some of the tools that we have to do it more efficiently and really kind of smarter than what the general notation for direct mail is. So what you're seeing right now is the homepage here, and really what I'm gonna start by showing you really quickly is by going into postcards. You'll see we have everything broken up by whether you're marketing your listing, your one farm, you have seasonal cards, holiday cards, whatever it is, they're broken up here. But I'm going to go into one of these templates just to show you something that's going to be on all of our mailing campaigns. It's something that's unique to us. So any of these templates here that you see this little QR code in the thumbnail, that is something we developed called Easy Lead QR code technology. Everybody's kind of familiar with QR codes now. Anybody can create one. There's nothing special about it. But what is special about what we do with our QR codes is that we created the ability to print a different QR code on every postcard that gets sent out. So that means if you send out 500 postcards, we create 500 different QR codes, and they'll all go to whatever you want them to go to. So this is like if you run your social media really well and you're trying to drive more traffic there, where you have a website that you're trying to drive traffic to. It could be a video, it could be a tour of a property, whatever it is, you decide where that QR code links to. And the reason that that's so important for you as an agent is that by printing a different QR code on every postcard, whenever one of those QR codes gets scanned, we're able to send you the exact address that scanned it. So a lot of companies will say, we have trackable QR codes. And what they mean by that is we'll set up a QR code and it goes to a form. And then the person's got to fill out the form, write their name, email address, phone number. And really what happens with those is people just close out of them because no one wants to give up their information. So that was part of the genesis of this program that we developed because we built our own website, we print everything, we mail it out for you. We basically created a way that on the back end, our system keeps track of where each QR code goes. So when QR code 101 was scanned, our system then says, okay, QR code 101 only existed on one postcard, and that postcard was addressed to John Smith at 123 Main Street. Therefore, somebody in John Smith's house at 123 Main Street scanned your QR code and wanted to learn more about you, the property, whatever you're advertising on there. So that's really important, and you don't have to create the QR code. So I just kind of skipped through a template here, and I'll go through it in a little detail, but you'll see the QR code here on the back. This one just says, as an example, scan the QR code to view a tour of this property. Now, if you had your own professional tour of the property, you could basically just hit change redirection website, paste in the URL there, click update, and the QR code is going to be good to go. Once you click update, this QR code will be live, and you'll be able to take out your phone and scan it right on your computer screen to test it out. But this is a great way, I tell agents all the time, ideally, the response rates go up a lot. You get the best response rates when the QR code is going to a video. When you can put scan here for a 30-second, 45-second local market update, or 30-second, introduction or testimonial, or virtual tour of a property, the response rates on that go way up. Now, I'm not saying you're going to send out, 100 postcards, you're going to get a bunch of people to scan your QR code and you're going to sell $1 million house next week. That's not reality. Anytime you're doing direct mail, it's a long-term game. And really the key is consistency. It's like that with anything you do, whether it's social media, whether it's videos on YouTube, whether it's email marketing. You don't send out one email, you don't post one time on Instagram and expect to get a listing out of it. Whatever it is you do, and ideally you're doing as many of these channels as possible, it takes consistency. But this QR code technology is important to remember, and really important to utilize. And then in a little bit later, I'm going to kind of go over how all the results come in. I'm going to log into an agent's website that uses it, and you can see how all the leads come in. But before we get into all that, the number one thing when it comes to using direct mail and starting a campaign is who are you going to mail to? Now, there's a couple different strategies and every agent's different. And, if you are thinking about doing this, we can set up a one-on-one time. You can be just trying to farm referrals from your database. Real estate is a very heavily referral based, but the common mistake a lot of agents make is saying, oh, I get my business from referrals. My aunt, my sister, they all know I'm a real estate agent. But you'd be surprised by how many agents come to me and say, my aunt listed their house last week, or they forgot I was a realtor. That's business you should definitely nail down. For an extra 75 cents a month, whatever it comes out to get in their hands and be top of mind, even if it's for a few seconds, that's business you should have. So that's referral, that's sort of referral marketing and kind of keeping up with your database. You can also do transactional marketing, circle prospecting and just listed or just sold. You want to send postcards in the area. Common misconception is that you're doing that to sell the house. You're really doing that to sell yourself. When you send out a just listed card, if you're circle prospecting the area, the person around the block doesn't want to buy the house. They want to see what type of job you do when you sell the house. So if you decide to go with, you say, I'm going to create a system and I'm going to just circle prospect web agents that just do it, just listed and just sold for every transaction they do. You sort of tell a story. You send out a just listed card, then your sign goes up in their house. Then they see a line around the block for the open house. Then you send a card, in a few weeks and say under contract in a few weeks, multiple offers. And those cards say scan here for a virtual tour, or maybe scan here to see how I got your neighbor's house sold. That's telling a story about the job that you did. And if there's somebody thinking about selling, they may scan that and see, man, what did Tom do that he successfully sold his house? It was done in 2 weeks and they got over asking. That's another strategy to use. The last one is farming. Breaking into a new neighborhood, whether it's an area of a town that you like, a development, or maybe you're not sure. I'm going to kind of go over a tool here, or I'll go over all the tools that you can use to build a mailing list. But really, this is one of the most important things if you're gonna start, marketing your business using direct mail, is picking a good mailing list. So by clicking menu here and going to mailing lists, it's going to show you all the lists that you have saved in your account. If you're new or you haven't saved any, this area will be blank and you can just hit create a new mailing list. When you do that, you'll see all the free tools that we have here to build mailing lists, and I'll kind of go through them quickly. But the last one and the main one that I'm going to go through is the target list tool. This is the only tool that costs any money on our website, but you can put together a list of 200, 300 addresses. It's only going to cost you $25. But what it's going to allow us to do is sort it by demographic criteria. So you can kind of eliminate some of the people that maybe aren't worth mailing to. It's not worth spending your money towards them. But before I get to that, I'm going to start with these free ones here. So you got Radius and Freeform right off the bat. Whenever I show agents this, I skip over Radius and I go to Freeform, because if you understand Freeform, you'll understand Radius. Basically, you're drawing a map, you're drawing an area on a map. You type in a starting location. It could be anywhere. I'm just gonna use the Ridgewood office because I know it off the top of my head. Whatever address you type in there is gonna be the center pin here. Now, if this was the radius tool, this would just be a circle that we can shrink and expand. Because I chose the freeform tool, I can click and drag each one of these pins. So I have a lot more control over the area I can choose. I can get very specific. So if you know you want to do a certain couple block area around your house, this is a great tool to use. Once you have your area, you click find addresses. It's going to tell you in the top left here how many addresses are within that area. It's also going to give you a list of them down here. At this point, if you wanted to, you could say, I don't want to mail at all to East Ridgewood, I could uncheck it. And now I have 0 selected out of the 49. If you want to get really granular and say, hey, I know there's an agent over here that lives on 110 Doremus, I'm going to take that out. You can do that as well. What's more likely going to happen is you're going to pick an area, you're going to say 600 addresses. That's too much. I'm looking to do more like 200. You just hit clear selection, hit OK, and then refine your area. Basically repeat the process. Pretty simple. Find addresses again. Now we're down to 533, whatever, we could assume that that's closer to what we want. And then we'd save our list and name it something appropriate. I told you, just don't name it like list 1, list 2, list 3, because as you build more of them, you're going to get confused as to what's what. So that's freeform, and in a way it's radius as well. They're both pretty simple. You're drawing an area on a map, and our system's going to pull all the addresses in that area for you. City street select. This is very straightforward. You're going to type in a zip code, use Rutherford, and it's going to give you basically a list of all the streets in Rutherford, and you can bounce around alphabetically if you want. You can say, I know I want Garfield. I can go over to N, click Nevins. I could go over to R and say, I have a friend on Raymond Ave. I just want to mail to him, and I could choose that specific street. This is good if you know the exact streets that you want. You could uncheck businesses up here. You can uncheck multifamilies up here if you want. But if you know specific addresses, this is a great way to build it. One other thing that I'll show you, I don't know if a street off the top of my head that has.
I got a quick question.
Yeah, sure.
Can you use this service then, if I just wanted to set my sphere of influence mailing list?
Mhm.
So I can,
Yeah, you could upload your own list, like you're saying, if you have a list.
yeah,
Yep, yeah, you could upload your own. Yeah, so if you have an Excel file with name, address, city, street and zip, city, state and zip, sorry. Then yeah, you could upload it here, save it, and then set it up for a mailing program, whether you want to send mail to a monthly, you want to do one-off mailers, whatever it is, you can upload your own list, yes. Go to Park Ave here, yeah, so if you're looking to target, maybe you're doing some business in the city or you want to target one specific multifamily building, a condo building, whatever. If you go, let's say I knew it was on Park Ave, I don't have to select all of Park Ave. I can go into Park Ave, click view edit and say, I know I'm just looking to farm the building 106 Park Ave. 54 addresses in there. I could just click that building and it's going to highlight all of that building. So if you're looking to target a specific building, that's probably best used using the city street select tool. The next tool I'll show you really quickly is the quick list. This is basically an abbreviated version of radius. This is like if you're doing just listed or just sold cards or around a property and you don't want to pull a radius, it's 200 addresses, then I got to shrink it down, it's 150 and you want to play around with that. You basically just type in an address here and pick the number of addresses around it you want, and our system's going to automatically pull it up. So you find addresses, it's going to pull the 100 addresses closest, and there's your list. So that's just basically what it is, what it's named after, quick list, just to make a quick list there. Lastly, like I said, you could upload your own list here. If you have your own list, you can upload it right here. You'll have to remove anything that's bolded on there. If there's any colors in the Excel sheet, just remove them. If you try uploading it and you run into an error, you could always just email it to me. It usually has something to do with somewhere being bolded or a color in there. But we also have a sample template here that you can download so you know the format. It's basically just a name, city, name, address, city, state, zip. You have a column for each of those and you're good to go. So that's if you're uploading your own. Lastly, well, we also do EDDM mailings. If you're not mailing in larger quantities, if you're a bigger team, EDDM mailings come into play. But because of our new EasyLead QR code trackability, we're seeing less EDDMs with, smaller teams or single agents, just because the value difference doesn't really wind up being worth it. EDDM is a little cheaper per piece, maybe 10 to 15 cents cheaper per piece, but you have to mail by postal carrier route. So you can't pick and choose, I want a street here, I want a street there, I want an address here. You pick one route, or you can pick multiple routes, and you have to mail to that whole route. If the route has 601 addresses, I have to do 601. So I'll show you how it works. I don't think too many of you are gonna wanna utilize it, and you're not gonna be able to take advantage of that trackability on it as well. So you'll type in a zip code, and I'll show you how it works, just so you guys know it and are familiar with it. You'll type in a zip code, it's gonna give you a list of all the routes within that zip code. For what it's worth, it'll give you the average income of the people on that route, but it'll tell you the quantity here. Then you'll see a map down here of whatever town you choose, and you can see as I move my cursor over it, it'll light up, and it'll light up that route. So if I click that, right up here, it'll say you chose one route, 406 addresses, and it'll give me a list of the streets on there. But I can't make that 251 or 300 or anything, I have to mail that whole route. And sometimes, depending upon the town that you're in, the routes don't make all that much sense. Rutherford looks like it's pretty good, but sometimes it'll be a piece of this area and then over here too. So you might save 10 to 15 cents per piece doing EDDM, but you have to mail 600 pieces. Versus if you just pick and choose the streets, you only have to mail 250, and it probably makes up for it because you get that trackability. But either way, that's the tool that's there, it's available to you. And for any agents that do it, maybe there's some people online that do EDDM mailings, we can do that as well. So kind of getting the last thing, and really the highlight of what I want to talk about, is the target list tool. This is a really powerful tool, it's a cool tool that's available to all the agents here. And it starts out by asking for a zip code, or you can even switch it to a radius selection. So you can focus within a radius, or you can focus within a town. I'll start with a town because it's going to be easier to get a good number, but you can do it in a radius around your house, in a neighborhood, whatever it is. You choose a starting point, just like I showed in freeform, and the area will be selected. So I'm going to choose Rutherford here. I'm going to click add zip code, and you can do it across multiple zip codes if you want. If you want to do it across a couple towns and you want to target this specific audience, but you don't care if it's Rutherford, Lyndhurst, North Arlington, that's fine. I'm going to stick in Rutherford here, and then I'm going to hit select demographic criteria. So we're partnered with a company called USA Data that compiles all this data from credit cards, mortgages, and things like that. So now we could say, okay, I want to target, homeowners in Rutherford. So we're going to go to homeowners and renters, and we're going to select homeowners. You got 3 boxes here: categories, values, and what you're targeting. So anytime I click a category, there's going to be values to choose from. So I'm going to say I want homeowners, number 1. Next, and I'm just going to give an example. You can obviously go through any of these, but the NAR Home Buyers and Sellers said that the median number of years people were in their home last year before they sold was 10 years. So we're going to say we want homeowners that have lived there 10 years, and it's important here that I highlight up to 15 years or more, because if I just choose 10, I'm only picking people that have been there exactly 10 years. So we're going to do 10 years or more here. The next thing they said is that the average age of homeowners that sold their house last year, I'm sorry, not the average age, 74% of homeowners that sold their house last year were over the age of 43. So let's start there. We're going to say we want people in Rutherford that are homeowners that are over the age of 43, that have lived there 10 years or more. And then I can scroll down here and hit get my count. Now it might be a lot, it might be a little. In order to purchase the list has to be at least 200 addresses. So you can't purchase a list that's like 100 addresses. It's gonna be, it's too small, you have to hit that 200 minimum. So if you get too detailed with your search, you might have to widen it a little bit. In this example, we only narrowed it down to 2,500 addresses and the list would cost 128. So now we gotta narrow it down a little further. So some of the things that are common, now depending upon who you're looking to target, you might say, I want people with no children present. Maybe you're looking for downsizing opportunities. And this is why it's important. I always encourage you to go in here and kind of play around with this list in the market that you're looking for. Because even if you don't purchase the list, if you focus on a certain zip code or you focus on a certain radius, you're gonna at least be able to see the numbers of kind of what you're looking for. So, okay, let's try adding no children present and see what we get up to. So now these are homeowners over 43 that have lived there 10 years or more and now have no children present. Now I would guess it probably, okay, cut it in half. Now we're down to 1,000 addresses here. Now, I've seen agents use this tool a couple different ways. I've seen agents narrow it down more to 200, 300, 500 addresses, something like that. And say, okay, I'm gonna purchase that list and now I'm gonna farm that list. Or I've seen agents buy maybe a bigger list like this, that's 1,000 addresses, because when they purchase it, it'll get saved in your account. It'll also be able to, for you to download as an Excel file. So I've seen agents buy a bigger list, just because they want the data, and then they'll sort it themselves in Excel and say, even though I bought 1,000 addresses, I only want to start a campaign of about 200 addresses. That's what I'm budgeting for, but I'm gonna pick the 200 that have lived there the longest, or are the oldest, whatever it is, whatever the criteria is. So there's two different ways to kind of go about it, but we're at 1,000. We're gonna see if we can cut it down a little more. So another popular one that agents are using is the home equity available. We want people to have enough, a good amount of home equity to kind of help them and sell their home. So let's just say 500,000 or more. I don't know that that's going to narrow it down that much for what our search here, because if they've been in there 10 years or more, they've probably built up a good amount of equity. But you never know. We'll see what we get. And the price point's pretty high in Rutherford. We'll see what it cut down to. So wow, it cut it down a lot. So now we're just under that 200. So you may have to play around with it and let's expand it. Let's do 250 and up. So now I'll get my count and we'll see what that is. Now that's a pretty wide gap, so it may add a few hundred. Yep, so we're at 485. So that could be a list that we want to purchase. You can click purchase a list, and that'll add it to your shopping cart, and then you can check out. It'll get loaded into your account, it's usually about an hour or two. It'll be loaded into your account and ready to use. But either way, it's a really cool tool to use. And it's a great way to, mail a little smarter no matter what you're doing. It doesn't really make sense to start mailing people that bought their house 4 or 5 years ago, have a 2% interest rate, and they're real young. They're not going to move probably. Or, so you're really kind of playing the numbers here, and kind of want to give yourself the best chance for success. I'll show you really quickly the radius selection version of this, just so you get an idea of it. Instead of a zip code, I'll switch to radius. I'll type in, let's just do Pierpont. Pierpont app, I think. Yeah. Spell that. It's like this, right?
No, the PEIR.
Oh, yeah, P. Is it? Is it West Pierpont? Let me just do Park Ave. I picked the weirdest spelling name, so we'll go to Park Ave here. So you could obviously choose whatever you want as far as the address goes. You can move this center pin and kind of move the area however you want. And then you can click this outside pin to expand it. So if you do it this way and hit create the selection area, it's actually going to give you the total number of addresses you're starting out with. So you will be able to see kind of how much you're cutting it down by. So then when you go in here and it goes down to 2,000 or 4,000, you say, okay, I know I cut it in half. So that's basically how to do the radius version of the targeted list. So that's available to you there. So really, any agent that, you know, is thinking about, you know, starting a farm, I always point them in that direction and tell them to spend some time looking at the targeted mail, the targeted list. And we can talk about it, you know, we can schedule some time one-on-one, because really it's important to kind of mail smarter. The next thing I talk to agents about is consistency. You know, I always say if you're gonna start a campaign, a mailing campaign, you wanna do it for at least 8 to 12 months and budget for that. And what I talk to agents about all the time is starting small. So many agents come to me and they say, you know, I tried mailing a few months ago or a few years ago, it didn't work. I sent out 2,000 mailers to my town and nobody called me. And I said, well, yeah, you probably not. Because the reality is people don't wake up and say, honey, let's sell the house. I just got this mailer from this guy, Tom. I've never seen him before, heard of him before, but let me call him up and sell my $1 million house. It's probably not going to happen. You're trying to build a relationship with these people. And really, you're banking on them not having a brother or sister that's a realtor. So what you're trying to do is kind of create this relationship, and really what happens is people think about selling. They're in that consideration phase. You know, they don't just wake up and do it. They're kind of thinking about it for a while. What's the market like? What are houses selling for? So when the time does come that they're ready to make a move, you're the person they think of, not someone they've never seen before, but oh, you know, every first week of the month, I get a mailer from Tom and he gives me the local stats of what's going on in the neighborhood. He sold a house around the block. You know, he's giving me value about, you know, what the advantages are of working with him, whatever it is. That's how you stay top of mind to them. And really with the Easy Lead QR codes, you can keep track of people that maybe are engaging with your stuff. And that's a lead that you need to follow up and maybe pursue harder, because I tell agents all the time, and I'm having our team kind of run the numbers of it, because I've ran into a couple instances with agents. I'll get to your question in a second, Eric. I just pulled it up, but I've ran into a couple situations with agents where they got the lead, they didn't follow up with it, and then it turns out that that house listed 4 or 5 months later. And I said, if we're getting you the lead and you don't follow up with it, you know, it's no good to even do it. You know, you have to follow up with these leads and have a plan for them. So when we do send them to you, whether you're writing a handwritten letter, whether you're door knocking, you're dropping something off, have a plan in place when you do get those leads. So Eric is asking, in an investment property situation or multifamily home, postcard will go to the address or homeowner address. So any list that you pull from our website will go to the addresses of that building. It will not find the homeowner address, like an absentee owner. I know there are some third-party systems that you can get absentee owner addresses from. I've done a few of those for different agents. I could reach out to one of the agents I worked with recently and ask what system they used. But our system is just gonna pull the addresses, like if you're looking on 123 Park Ave, if that's a 2-family home, it's just gonna pull that address 123 Park Ave. It's not gonna find the homeowner of it, or the owner of that building rather. But yeah, thanks for the question. It's a good question. So okay, so now we can assume that we've kind of put together a mailing list. We say, okay, you know, now we need to come up with what we're gonna send to them. Like I said, there's a bunch of templates in here with farming content, holiday cards. You know, obviously if the listings and sold you want to send to them, or a lot of what I do is I'll work with you to start to put together a campaign. If you're doing a targeted, you know, a targeted list. Maybe you're targeting people that are looking to downsize. Maybe that's going to look a little different than I want to start a campaign really to farm for referrals in my database. Everything's going to look a little different. I'm here to kind of sit down with you, come up with a strategy and help you kind of put together some of that content. If it's not on here, we have a whole library of been doing this for a while of different content. And we also welcome ideas that you might have. You might be hosting an event or know something in the town or want to do, you know, post things that are relevant to the town. There's fireworks and movies in the park, whatever it is. You want to connect yourself to that community. That's a great, you know, we can do that as well. Kind of got a little off topic here, just kind of going back to it, but going back to the consistency and the size. I tell agents all the time, a great place to start is around 200 postcards. They're gonna run you, it's gonna be less than $1 each. If you hit the 200, that's our next price break. They're gonna be about 85 cents each, and that's printed, mailed out, everything. So I like to put it this way: if you're starting with 200 addresses, you're gonna spend about $180 a month. Let's say we round up to 200. I try and frame it in agent's mind that it's gonna be a $2,400 investment for the year. If you do that for a year, and the reason I say to start with that, you get one new listing out of it. Now you've paid for that year, you've paid for now next year of doing that same list. And you've made a few bucks. And the reason I say next year is because it kind of, now those people, you're in their hands once a month for now 18 months, 20 months, 24 months, and now you're sort of building that relationship. No one starts out, mailing thousands of pieces a month. We work with teams that do 5 towns a month, that do tens of thousands of postcards a month. They didn't start doing that because it's too big of a capital investment. Like I said, you might not get the response for 6 or 8 months. It's a long-term thing. And basically what you're trying to build is a farm of steady lead generation that essentially feeds itself. Because once you get that first one, and now your year and next year are paid for, now you're really in the green. Now you can talk about, okay, maybe we expand it a little bit, or maybe we just farm that. And Gary Keller talks about not only just getting that one listing, but what do we all know? It's referral based. Is that one listing really just one listing, or did you also list or help his sister or brother buy? So now you're getting 2 pieces of business out of it. So the value of new business is very valuable, but I always talk about smaller, because when you're smaller, it's not gonna kill your bank, and you're gonna be able to afford to do it consistently. Another great way to keep the cost down, especially starting out, find someone, a sponsor. You do a lot of business with a lender, an attorney, whoever it is. A lot of times they're willing to contribute to the cost. We work with them all the time. We'll put their headshot, their contact information, their logo on there. Sometimes they're willing to sponsor 50%, 25% of the card. It's a great way to kind of keep that cost down. Because really the hardest part is kind of getting started. And that's why I always stress, don't do those big blanket mailings across the town. Take that, let's find a list of addresses, or people that are likely to sell. They've been in there a long time, they're of the selling age. They don't have children present that are in the schools, whatever it might be. Let's focus on them, and let's really come up with a targeted campaign to those people, over the course of a year. And more than likely, you're gonna get a piece of business out of there, and then it kind of starts to snowball. So that's really kind of how it works as far as mailing goes. I'll go through a template here for a sold transaction, so you can kind of see how it works. And then I'll go into into Canva. I don't know, do any of you guys use Canva at all? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so I'll go into that and kind of show you how that works. But basically, if you're choosing a template, this workflow is going to be the same for any of the products in our store, whether it's a postcard, a business card, a brochure, a sign. It's pretty much all going to follow the same thing. The only added step is on a mailing. Obviously, you have to address it. So you'll always have the first stage will be the setup stage. It'll have all the details of the product that you have there. It'll also give you a pricing breakdown based on the quantities that you're doing. And you may have a couple different options for front and back. You might have a 2-agent version, no photo, whatever it might be. I'm just gonna go with the standard one here. Then we'll go to next, and you'll be at this sort of create step. If you're doing a postcard or a brochure, it might be front and back or different pages. Again, this is giving me the option to choose a different format with 2 agents or whatever. I'm gonna keep with what I have. Now it's gonna pull all your information in from your profile. If it's there, I mean, all of your information's there. Your photo may not be there. You may have to upload it. You can do that in the settings too, so you don't have to do it for every template. And then it's really straightforward. You're just following the prompts. Is this a just listed or a just sold or new to market, however you want to phrase it. Let's call it new to market. Then it would ask you for a photo of the property. Do I have one in my calculator? These are people's things. Let's see. I should have queued one up here. I don't have one here, but basically you would upload your, you wouldn't go to gallery, you would go to, oh, here's one. I'll just pull one in here, but you would probably click upload, you would upload your photo off your computer. Then there's a couple things like banner, banner text, so I can just put in, you know, let's just say 900,000 if you want to put the price. 123 Main Street. You could fill this out. I mean, obviously, it's pretty straightforward. You put in the state, the zip, there's another address, you know, another text line down here, call or text me, and as you fill out any of this, you'll see it update live here, so you can kind of see where it's all going if you're not sure. Then you go to the back. Most of our backs have a generic copy in the back. You can obviously just leave it, or you can tweak it however you want. The important thing here on all these, especially on the mailings, is whatever that call to action is by the QR code. Like I said earlier, if you can say scan here for a 30-second, 45 seconds, it's gonna increase your response rate. The reality is, these are kind of like a billboard that's in somebody's hand for a few seconds. And a lot of times they're going in the garbage. It's just a billboard, getting your name, photo in front of them, and kind of helping build your brand. So if you could get something intriguing on there, I try and tell agents to stay away from like comparative market analysis or home evaluation. Just because I know before I started working, you know, with real estate agents or really in the industry at all, that to me seemed like a scary step. That's like, hey, I'm ready to do this. And in reality, it's not. We kind of know that. But you don't want to discourage people from doing it. You want it to be kind of almost a soft sell because you're trying to capture people that are in that consideration phase. So scan here to learn about my business, to hear a testimonial, a 30-second local market update, you know, a virtual tour of the property. Those things, the person's not thinking that you're being very intrusive. They're just curious. And then little do they know, you have their address and you have a lead coming to you. Then you could choose where you want to send. You could obviously use one of the tools that I showed you, or you could hit add an existing list if you made it ahead of time. I'm just gonna hit that and just click this random list here. I'll hit use selected list. And then you'll be at that last stage here, which is basically your order it stage where it's gonna show you your final proof, your website response. This is where the QR code is gonna go to. It's gonna default to the website in your profile. Like I said earlier, you can change this, hit change redirection, paste in a URL there, hit update, and it will update live. It's gonna tell you how many are mailed out, the price. You can choose a confirmation card, which is basically just one sent to the office here, so you have a copy of it. You could ship additional ones if you want extras. But then you could basically check the box to approve it, add it to your cart, and check out. So that's sort of pretty much the workflow process of how it all works. I'm gonna show you really quickly what the leads look like when they come in. I'm gonna log into an agent's account here, and then I'll show you the Canva stuff. So let me go into Ira's account here. He's an agent with the Ridgewood office. He's been using us for a while now. I remember when he started out in real estate at the office, and what he did to kind of get his business started was he focused on a condo building in Hackensack. He lived in the building and he just sort of started farming that and became the realtor of that building. I always tell agents, if you're thinking about starting farming, that's a great place to start. You live in a development, you live in a building, a little community like that, because people see you out and about walking your dog, you know, walking to the store, whatever it is, in the hallways. That's free marketing basically for you, seeing your face. And then the other aspect of it is, once you sell one in there, it's kind of a snowball because people are like, oh, he knows what he's doing, he knows the area, he was successfully sold that, and it's very easy to kind of take over and become the realtor there. So that's a great strategy here. So once you start mailing, you'll have a little campaign dashboard here, and you can click view complete campaign summary here. So this responses column is anybody that scans the QR code, the leads that come in. So you can see here that not all of these are gonna get scans. And like I said earlier, this isn't some like magic sauce. It's just an added layer of lead generation. but over time, it's gonna kind of generate leads and ultimately generate business for you. So when you see you have a QR code scan, number one, it's gonna get emailed to you. It's gonna say, hey, the recipient at this address, scan your QR code, and we send you a link to white pages. You can click right in the email. If for whatever reason you missed the email, or you just want to come and check on the website, you can always come in and check here. You see that you have scans, you click details. When you click into details, this is also where you can check whether the postcards were delivered, where they went, etc. But you'll see the date the order was placed. You'll see a picture of the card that was sent out. And then here you're going to see the addresses that scanned it and when they scanned it. You're going to see when it came out, when it the mailing list that he used, sorry. And here's going to be the leads that came in. So like I said, this is an example of one of these mailings that he sent to the building. And what's also cool is that you'll also see this 2 additional responses. So this particular address is somebody that got 2 of his other previous cards and also scanned them. So now this is the 3rd time they're scanning a card. So that's another cool little tidbit that if you're keeping track of, you can see, oh, this person scanned a couple of my cards. I think even if you get 1 scan, you should be following up with them consistently, but maybe it puts a little more urgency in there. If you click in any one of these addresses, we're gonna link you to 4in1.com. And it's gonna give you some information for free about the house. So they purchased it in 2020. This was the purchase price. They'll tell you the square feet when it was built. I mean, this isn't the best example because it's a condo, but you kind of get the idea. You'll get some information about them. I believe if you're a member of White Pages, you'll get like phone numbers and maybe emails. I'm not sure how reliable those are.
They're not too bad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you're a member there, that's an added bonus. You get that stuff. But regardless, no matter what, if they scan it and they're at your website or wherever they are for a second, they close out, it doesn't matter. As soon as that QR codes get scanned, you're gonna know the exact address that interacted with it. So that's kind of going back to what I said. That's your trigger that, okay, these 3 addresses interacted, whether I'm gonna go door knock, I'm gonna write a handwritten letter, I'm gonna go drop something off at their house, I'm gonna use a 3rd-party system to get their phone number, whatever it is. These are people that were engaging with your mailer, and that's somebody you want to follow up with and stay on top of. So that's sort of how the process works as far as getting the leads in. And for what it's worth, we also keep a running response list in your account as a mailing list. So I could probably go into his here. So if I go into his mailing list, can I sort it? See, well, that he has that in the list. Response list. So this is basically I'm working on having them adjust the verbiage because really it's leads. But these are out of all the mailings he's done, he's generated 50 leads, and this is all their addresses. So this is probably over the course of a few years now. But regardless, this is a really cool tool if you decide to do that like circle prospecting route that I was talking about before. The reason for that being is, let's say you get a listing in Mahwah. You don't really do business in Mahwah, but part of your standard procedure of when you get a listing is you send out a just listed and just sold. So now you do that and somebody scans the QR code because they want to take a virtual tour, learn more about you. That's not where you really do business. That person would never ever hear from you again unless you list something around the block or something in that area because you don't do business up there. But now because you captured that one list, I tell agents all the time, if you're doing a farm as well, add that response list because now that person engaged with the listing that you had up there, but now you know there's somewhat problem maybe in that consideration phase, maybe you followed up with them and they weren't ready, but now they're going to get something from you every month. Maybe you could get their information and get them on an email drip campaign, but it's a great way to kind of capture people now and then. If you're doing that circle prospecting that you wouldn't be able to follow up with, because the reality is if you're farming the same list, the response list doesn't matter that as much because people are responding, but they're part of that list. You're mailing to them all the time. But either way, it's a great list, a great way to kind of keep track of that all in your account. Now, for those Canva users, people that want to kind of design their own stuff, or they have an admin on the team, or whatever it might be. whatever you're looking to design, whether it's a postcard or a brochure, I'll show postcards first. Well, I'll show postcards. I'll only show postcards because if you can understand postcards, you'll understand brochures. But basically, when you go to postcards, or if you go to brochures, you'll see a custom section. You can go to custom postcards and you'll see all the different sizes that we have here. I'm gonna just use the standard jumbo size that's most common as the example. So I'll click into here. And basically what our system is gonna ask for is a front and back PDF. Whether it's a brochure, a postcard, whatever it is, it's gonna ask for 2 PDFs for it. What you're gonna see here, now to make it really simple, whatever this red size is here, required upload size, that's the size you wanna make your Canva document when you open up Canva. So let me see if I can do this on this, oh my God. Let's see if we can. Let's see if I know my password. And go through the whole process, that would be kind of cool. Any of you guys have any questions while I just wait for this email to come in? Top of your head? Six. So I know the upload size has to be 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. So I'll come in here, I'll hit create a design, and I'll go down to custom size. And I've done this a bunch, so I have it recent here, but you would want to change this to inches. And then type in your dimensions here so that it's 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. Now you're in Canva, you have a file that's sized the right way. If you're familiar with Canva, they have a whole bunch of different templates, so I could literally type in real estate postcard. And there's all kind of templates to choose from here. I'm just gonna pick this one here. You can literally click it, it'll populate right in. I'll go down to add a second page here. And I'll put it back, and now I could edit it however I want, design whatever you want here. So we have it the right size. Now you can click this download template button, which is gonna download a zip file. What's in this zip file is basically a PDF of instructions. Exactly what I'm kind of gonna go through right now, so you can always refer back to it. And really what's important are these overlays here. So these overlays are things that you'll upload to Canva to check your work. So I would go to upload here and I would click upload files. And I don't need to upload them because I have them saved here. But basically what's gonna happen is you're gonna upload it here and this overlay is gonna go right in here, and you can stretch it to lock into that corner and stretch it to lock into this corner. And it's a little hard to see here in the classroom, but you basically want all your text information to be within that pink or red margin. That's our safety margin. So if this was like this, that's no good. You know, we want it to be within that pink margin, so everything looks good here. You can have images going past it, that just means they're gonna bleed off the edge of the card. But you don't want anything ending kind of in between there, so like even these circles, for example. We don't really care, but I'll move them in there a little bit. But this stuff, this is just a pattern that's going over, it's all fine. Then we'll come to the back, and this is really the more important one, especially for mailings. Same exact concept, but it's gonna show us where our address block is gonna go, and where our postage is gonna go, and where our Easy Lead QR code is gonna go. So you can see here that we have stuff interfering with it. So we'll have to move that stuff and make the adjustments. So this is just sort of a way to kind of check your work, to make sure nothing's interfering with it. We have our QR code going here, so maybe we wanna adjust this so that it says, you know, scan here, you know, for whatever, or, you know, that. So we have a call to action there. Maybe we want to put that there, then maybe this information has to get moved. Once everything is good, you can basically just delete that overlay. I'm gonna delete it on here. Let me, I'm gonna delete this stuff. So that nothing's interfering with it. So now we can see that when I stretch this out here, nothing's interfering with that. If you have colors behind this, our system's gonna print the address block on the postage over it, that's fine. You just don't want anything like contact information or anything like that to be behind there because it will get printed over. So now our artwork's done, we've created in Canva. All we have to do is basically, like I said, download a front and a back. So you're gonna download a PDF print. If you're printing it, you want a print version, pretty straightforward. You're gonna wanna check flatten PDF. It's not the end of the world if you forget this, but basically what this does is turn all the layers that are in the PDF into a flat image. When we first started working with Canva, there's some, without getting too technical, there's some fonts that'll look good on the PDF, but when you run them through Press, it doesn't print right because it's a different file type. I think for the most part, Canva's pretty much corrected that, but I always tell agents, just flatten it just to be safe, it doesn't really do anything, it's just an extra step. If you have Canva Pro, you could use CMYK. If you don't, and you just are gonna use RGB, it's fine, our system can print both, it's no big deal. And then really the only thing that you need to make sure is that you're just downloading one page at a time. So right now I'm gonna download page 1, which is basically our front. And then I'm gonna repeat the same process, download PDF print, flatten PDFs. Oops. And then I'm just gonna download page 2. So now I'll basically design my own postcard, I've downloaded a front and back, and now I can basically come in here and just upload them. So I'll just gonna call this test, you can name it whatever you want. You click upload postcards, find on my computer. Find on my computer. I'll upload the front, come right in here. I'll upload the back. Now here you'll want to choose which back location. You'll see we have different locations for the address block and the QR code. Those are in that zip file with different overlay options. I always use version 3 because I think it kind of gives you the best spacing. You could use whatever you want. If you didn't remember, I'm gonna kind of show you like doing this almost the wrong way. And I just upload my back here. You will see that my back artwork doesn't line up with this, like, oh, wait a second, this doesn't line up. I can just click view additional page formats, and it's gonna show me what my art looks like in each one. So I can see, oh, this is the one that I need, I'll choose that one, and it'll readjust. Then everything else is the same, you'll add your existing list, or create a list there, and then you'll I didn't even realize I'm still an Iris account. And then you'll choose where you want it to go, you'll see your proof, and then you can go ahead and check out. So it's really easy. Once you kind of have the template set up in Canva or create some stuff in Canva, you basically just download PDF front and back and upload it to our store. Same thing for brochures, thank you cards, anything that you think that could be printed. If you want to design it yourself in Canva, you probably can, and have us print it. So that's basically it. I'm not sure if you guys have any other questions, anything else that you wanted to ask me or go over, or see if we do, be happy to help you guys. I don't know if anybody online, if anybody's got questions, you can just write them in. I'll hang around here for a minute or two. and then we'll be all set. We also have signage here. If you need signage, we have a whole bunch of different templates here. Our pricing is really competitive. Turnaround time is really quick. It's like 3 or 4 business days. Anything from open house signs to yard signs that are hanging, you need holes in them, whatever it is. And same thing, if you want to design your own, you can design your own and upload it. I would just say, if you are designing your own, just run it by your broker first and make sure you're compliant. Or you could run it by me if you want to send me an email. I kind of know pretty much all the compliance rules that you need covered here. But sometimes agents may see a design that they like online that's from like Texas or something, and Texas laws are different than New Jersey. So maybe, you know, the broker's number isn't on there, and you got to kind of have the office number on there to be compliant. So if you are doing your own things, I always just say just to double check it. If and you know, I'll be happy to take a quick look at it, or your broker can, and say, you know, this is good, this isn't good, whatever it might be. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If anybody's thinking about, you know, starting a mailing campaign or doing something like that, just let me know. I'll be happy to sit down one-on-one, go on a Zoom, get on a Zoom call, go through what you're thinking, what you're looking to do, and kind of put together a plan. But the main thing I always emphasize is start small, and stay consistent with it. And that's whether you're doing mailing, whether you're doing social media, email campaign, really any marketing that you're doing. It's not like you're gonna do it once and people are gonna call you up and say, you know, sell my house. You gotta be consistent with it. You gotta build your brand, build a relationship with the people that you're talking to. And that's really what's important, across, you know, across all platforms. So we're here to basically try and automate that as much as possible for you guys, kind of be some leverage for you. We had a program running, it's gonna be turned back on with the MLS switch. It was turned off, but probably next week it'll be back on. It's basically our automated just listed and just sold program. So once you're in here, anytime you get a listing or a closing, our system's gonna automatically generate a just listed or just sold postcard for you. Send you an email and say, hey, you know, congratulations on your listing or closing. Do you want to send out cards? It's going to default to 100 around the address, but the card's going to be all put together for you. So you can basically just go in there, order it, say, yep, I just want them out, or you can go in there and edit it, or you could ignore it completely and not do it. But either way, it's there for you. So it's been down for a few weeks now with the MLS change, but we got it back up. We got all the paperwork back to NJMLS, so it should be back up and running in a week or so. I know I've had some agents ask me about it. But yeah, that's really it. And like I said, I'm here for any questions or anything you're not sure of.
Could you share
Yeah.
your email?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat for anybody on there too. But yeah, my email is billg@prismdc.com.